Hey everybody, it's Kyle and welcome back to another video. And if you've noticed, we're actually shooting this video on an old camcorder. We're shooting this on a Sony DSR-PD150 MiniDV camcorder. It's a 3CCD professional camera, and we're going to be using it for a little bit until I can get my hands on a proper HD Sony camera. But what we have here is a vintage Sony Betamax HiFi VCR. This is an SL-HF300. This one dates back to 1984, and I got this off of eBay, and we are going to quickly see if it actually works. So this is a model that came out in 1984, which was between the introduction of Beta HiFi in 1983 and the introduction of Super Beta in 1985. So at the time, this was pretty much one of the best beta VCRs you could get because of the hi-fi sound. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the VCR. There's really not much to talk about. What I am looking at is seeing if this thing actually will play back a tape. So what we've got here are our basic play controls, obviously over here. But what's really interesting is, of course, all the controls for Beta HiFi, which I'll show you in a moment. So basically, this was on eBay, and the seller wanted about $33 for it. So I ended up picking it up, and fortunately, this seller was actually in the same state that I am in, which is Michigan. They lived up in Traverse City, and I'm down near Detroit. So I was able to order this, buy it on Sunday, and get it shipped basically by Tuesday, which is today. So this thing came very quickly, and I'm very glad that it came. But unfortunately, they did not pack it well. I didn't pay much for shipping. I only paid about $26 for shipping via UPS. But the problem was that they did not pack this that well. They did not use any bubble wrap or anything. They just used like some styrofoam pads, and that was it, And which is really disappointing, because I went and specifically told them to use bubble wrap so that it doesn't get damaged, but unfortunately they didn't listen to me. So hopefully this thing works, because if it doesn't, then I can get my money back, but we'll see what it does. I'll just give you guys a quick overview of the actual Beta HiFi functions here, because it is quite an interesting model. What's interesting about these early hi-fi models is that they actually do not have a hi-fi stereo TV tuner in them, because back in 1984, the standard for stereo FM sound for television, that had not been standardized yet. So what they did is they used something called MPX, which is multiplex. They took like the raw NTSC signal, and they had an output, which is on the back, which I'll show you in a minute, which is you basically would take the raw signal out and feed it into a audio adapter, and it would actually produce the stereo sound. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, this one has a basic mono tuner in it, which I'll show you. So I'll just quickly show you the beta controls, and then we'll get to actually testing it. Will it actually work? So over here are basically all your functions or settings for Beta HiFi. First of all, you've got your input select. You can either select from your tuner, the mono tuner, and then line/PCM, and then there's also line audio. So basically, I'm not really sure what the line/PCM switch does. I know PCM is for digital audio. But basically, if you were recording, from your TV tuner, you would use the tuner option. But if you were recording something off of your stereo, like your cassette deck or record player, you would use the line audio selection right there. You can see up here we actually have a level meter, which is pretty cool for recording. You've actually got the actual level control right here. And then basically you actually have a switch to turn the hi-fi off and on. So right now it's on, and you can tell that because this is lit up, and if I turn it off, it's no longer lit up. And then right here, this is, of course, the switch between to record in either Beta 2 or Beta 3 speed. And then right here, you've got your record level, your monitor output. Basically, you can output either in stereo or just the left channel or the right channel. And then, of course, over here is just your tuner controls and clock controls, which I'm not going to go into because it's not really a big deal. But you can see here, you can actually change the channels. And apparently it says CATV, so I think this one actually might work with cable, like a cable subscription. I'm not really familiar with that. But yeah, you've got all this stuff for setting up recordings and everything. But I'm going to quickly show you the back of the unit now, and then we'll get to testing it. So here are our basic outputs on the back. You've got your antenna, VHF or UHF, coaxial antenna inputs for the analog TV. And then you have your line inputs and your line outputs for, of course, hi-fi. And then you've got your video in and out and PCM in and out. That's basically just, the PCM means that it doesn't really, it basically means the same thing, because PCM is digital audio. And what these things could do is that when you use something called a digital audio processor, you could actually turn a PCM stream of audio, digital audio, into a video signal and then record that onto a videotape, then play the videotape back and then decode it. Decode the digital sound from the video, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, the PCM, it basically means the same thing. And then right here, of course, is our MPX output. This is basically the multiplex. It stands for multiplex. And basically, from what I understand, it outputs the raw modulated signal, and then you'd plug this into a separate audio decoder that Sony sold after the standards were finalized, so you can actually get stereo sound. You basically connect the MPX to the the decoder, and then the decoder would go into the line input right here, and you'd be able to record stereo audio. And basically on the back here, you just have a AC outlet for your television, and then your timer here, which is you get to switch it between 50 and 60 hertz, which is kind of interesting. Let me just get a better look at that. You can see that right there. I'm not really sure what that means, because 50 hertz is usually the PAL frequency, and this is an NTSC model, so I don't know why that would be up there. But yeah, so that's a basic overview of the VCR. There's really not much to talk about with this one, other than it is a hi-fi VCR. But what we're going to be doing now is actually opening this up and giving it a basic clean and seeing if it will play back a tape. So now we're going to get into the actual part of the video. Alright, so we've got the top cover off, and you can see the insides of the mechanism. It is quite dusty in here, so I'm going to hit it with some compressed air, and I'm also going to clean the head drum. Unfortunately, I really can't give you a good shot of, a good overhead shot of the VCR, but it is quite dusty, so I'll go do that, and then we'll actually put in a tape. I've got a tape right here, which we're going to record. We're going to play back this tape. This is a tape that I recorded on my SL-2000, which is a Portapack model. It's not a hi-fi one though, so that's why I got this one. But we're also going to be making a hi-fi recording on this tape. Now, this is, as you might have noticed, it is a Betacam tape. But because it is a first generation beta tape and not a Betacam SP tape, it will actually work in this machine and not cause any damage, because it uses the same tape structure as any regular Betamax cassette, because these use the oxide tape. But when the Betacam SP tapes hit the market, those actually have metal particles in them, and that can cause problems. That can cause your head drum to really wear out. So avoid using any type of Betacam SP tapes on your Betamax VCR. Only use official Betamax tapes, or if you have to use a Betacam tape, you can use the first generation, but you have to make sure that it's the first generation oxide tape, because you do not want to damage your heads. So yeah, just gonna give that little tidbit out for anybody who's interested in Betamax and Betacam. So to clean the heads on this VCR, what I'm going to be using is a folded piece of copy paper, and I'm going to basically soak it with 91% isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to do that and make it wet. There we go. And now it's basically wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paper, the folded piece of paper, up to the head drum. And unfortunately, you're not really going to be able to see this that well, but if I zoom in, maybe get a good shot, maybe like that. I don't know. I'm just going to put it up against the head drum, and I'm going to spin. I'm going to spin the drum counterclockwise. So that's the way the drum turns, and I can feel the heads going across the piece of paper. And I bet you the heads are probably going to be dirty because the whole power supply system in this thing is kind of dirty. It really needs a good dusting. But I just want to make sure the thing works, and so far it looks pretty intact inside. But yeah, this is the best way to clean your head drum because everybody has copy paper and you don't have any risk of damaging the heads, which is good. I've done this many times to clean the heads. And I'm just going to see how much gunk came off the heads. So, not much actually came off the heads, it looks like. So, it looks like the heads are pretty clean in this machine, which is a good thing. So, I guess I will probably try loading in a beta tape right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it. I'm going to connect the VCR to this monitor right here. And we're going to see if it actually makes a recording. But first of all, I just want to make sure that the thing will actually thread a tape up. So I actually have the thing, I have it unplugged from power because I was kind of reaching my hands back here. And you don't want to be reaching your hand or putting your hand over here because this is where the power supply section is. And that will give you a good shock if it's plugged in and you touch a conductor. But there is a lot of dust over here and things like that, so I'm going to try my best to remove any of that dust the best I can, and hopefully without killing myself, but but yes, but then we will actually put the tape in and see if it actually works. I'd actually be surprised if this thing actually works because the way this thing was packaged, I think it would be a miracle if this thing actually plays the tape without any problem, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's just a miracle. You know, maybe it will be. Alright, so it is quite dirty, as you can see. I managed to get, I guess, a lot of it out and cleaned up, but it definitely is quite dirty inside. It will probably need like a very, very in-depth cleaning, but basically now I'm actually going to test this out. So here's the tape. This tape isn't a hi-fi tape. I recorded this, of course, on my SL-2000, and we're going to see if it actually works. So yeah, here goes nothing. Oh shit, I think it's actually... Oh, now it's taking it. Okay, it's threading. Okay. Will it unthread? I can tell that it's threaded. It's threaded. It's threaded. But let me see if it will unthread. So it unthreads and it will thread. Okay. So that's pretty okay. But will it play back? Quite noisy, but that might be because I have the thing off. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna hit play. And if we are lucky, something should be on the screen. Right now, actually, there's some static on the screen, I guess. But let's see what actually happens when I hit play. Wow! Wow! I literally do not believe this. I literally do not believe this. This thing was packed horrifically. This thing was packed like, this thing should have been, like, demolished in the shipping process, but it's not. So, if anybody's not familiar, this is actually the footage from Vintage Computer Festival Midwest 2022. This is a little tape I shot with Dave's Retro Video Lab here, and it looks like it's playing back pretty good. That's actually amazing. It's got the sound.
The first day,
That's amazing. I literally do not believe this. Like, what the actual damn? Let's see if the rewind works, the beta scan. I guess hit play. Oh. What's going on? Why are you... Let's see if it... Right, there's beta scan. That's working. It is quite noisy, but... I literally can't believe this. Like, the heads weren't even dirty. This is a great score. This is amazing. This is interesting. I can't believe this. From a Betacam. I mean, not a Betacam, but a Betamax. This works perfectly. And it didn't even eat my tape. That's amazing. So it works. It literally was packed using nothing but styrofoam pads, and it wasn't even packed that well. It was... I don't even believe it. I don't even believe this. This has to be a joke. This has to be a joke. Let's put in my other tape. I thought... Oh my god.
To see if I can use regular Betacam tape on my SL-2000 Betamax.
This is some footage I shot in my room.
I'm using the HEC 2200. Probably should turn the brightness up on this, but yep.
Just recording shit anyways.
I think there's a problem with the viewfinder on this, but it's working, I think.
Alright, let's record something in HiFi. So I'm going to have to dig out some cables. I guess I'll just use the line input from my, actually I'll probably make a recording using my camera. I don't know. I'll have to think about what I'm going to do. I guess I can plug my camera into the video, this camera, the DSR-PD150, into my, into this VCR and make a recording. Let's see. Let's make a recording on this thing. But yeah, this thing works. I cannot believe it. I literally do not believe this. Alright, let's make a recording on this. I'm going to set everything up and get back to you in a moment. Alright, so we are making a test recording using the composite output of my Sony DSR-PD150. We are feeding it into the video input on this Sony SL-HF300 Beta HiFi VCR from 1984, and it seems to be working great. I'm going to switch into the Beta 3 mode, and now I'm in the Beta 3 mode, and the soundtrack should be the same, but yep, as you can see, it is making a perfect quality recording. And going back into Beta 2, you can see that, well, it is recording pretty good. This is a 3CCD professional camcorder, so it has a very good picture and should showcase the quality of this particular VCR. So that kind of about wraps up our video for today. I'm actually surprised that this thing actually worked without any maintenance. Without having to do any maintenance to it, it just worked, considering how bad the packaging was. So this is just a quick video, and also with the Sony camera that I have here, this is just I thought it would be interesting to shoot a video of mine using a old Sony MiniDV professional camcorder. I will be putting out a review on that camera eventually. I will be making a video specifically about the camera, but I thought it would be cool to showcase it for right now. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ask me any questions that you have or anything, and I think that's about it. So I'll see you next time, everybody, and goodbye.